was a lot of stuff that just didn't work for me because I was stuck in a constraint called female, and it just wasn't me. I'm not that box, and because of the years of that, 30 years of that, it just caused so much disruption. And so it wasn't just like one day I woke up, right? But given all that path led me to that point.
I am so excited today to have very, very dear and special person here in this episode of the Succeed Against the Odds show. And welcome, Tien Neo Eamas.
Excellent.
I have to think about that.
Good job.
I don't know why I always mess it up. I just know you as Tien, so
Yes.
it's a lot
Yes.
easier.
Hello. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you. To be here.
Tien, can you tell me, before we even go into who you are and your background and
Okay.
what you do and all that,
All
can
that.
you just, since I have such a hard time with your name,
Okay.
can you share with us? Tell us about your name.
My name is a made-up name, as much as I feel like we are all making up ourselves at any moment. So why not create a new name, right? That really works for you. My name is partly made up, and it is partly an homage to my grandmother. And so Tien is part of the Chinese name that I was born with. I am Chinese and Indonesian. So Tien runs in everybody in the family. And then Neo is my grandmother's name on my Indonesian side. And for me, she was like, she was more the pagan kind of non-conforming magical being. And so she's really special to me. And Eamas is Indonesian for gold. And with a little tweak to it. So the full name is Tien is Chinese for heaven. Neo is, of course, the one. So my full name means the one of heaven and gold.
Wow. I love it. I think names are so, the meaning of our names are so important.
So important.
Like,
intentionality. Like everything is intentionality, right? Right down to your name. All of it. Because when I first published my deck of cards in 2012, I was visualizing it before I went into production and then into publication. And I was like, I hate my name. And this is the first publication. Now my name's going to be on this card deck forever. And I hate it. And so, it was that simple. And I went into a psychic and, the first thing she looked at me, she says, you have to change your name. I said, I know. Thank you for that reminder. Perfect. And then done.
Okay, so now that you spoke seeds, I don't know any of this part. So I really don't know a lot. I know very little about your background and what you do and what you actually do. So, and you just said something about a deck of cards. What is it that you do, Tien?
I am a wizard.
Okay, what does that mean?
So the wizard, first of all, is one who transforms lead to gold. So in any moment, I can bring forth the most beautiful, most awesome, most supreme, most magical from something that's ordinary. So, and how I offer that for people is through my artwork, through my coaching, through my consultations. I am a silver and goldsmith. I am a feng shui consultant. I do coach people. I am an artist. I am a creative. So in the different areas that I operate, all of it, I am a wizard. So whether I'm turning your old heirlooms into something new for yourself, building you a power piece, or whether I'm consulting on your home, I am turning something ordinary into the magical.
So you're in the art of transformation.
Absolutely.
Got it. And I have seen on social media, I've seen some pictures of your jewelry, which is absolutely stunning, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful work.
It better be after 22 years.
You've been doing this for 22 years.
I've been a silver and goldsmith for 22 years.
How did you get into that?
When I first came to Canada about almost 30 years ago, I was a international student. And at that point, I wasn't allowed to work anywhere as an international student. So in art school, I just started learning how to solder glass and make little costume jewelry. And after a couple of years of doing that, I got sick and tired of it. And so I went into smithing because I wanted something valuable, right? Glass was just not valuable enough. And that was a great way for me to kind of collect some extra funds here and there. And the smithing was so alchemically bonded. It was just such a natural expression for me. It was easy. And then through the years, I really got to learn the magic part of smithing, which is alchemy, which is intentionality, all of that. So silver has been my primary Zen master because it's taught me how to be present. And then, from there you just develop and you practice. And I don't come at life like I need to learn in order to be perfect. I don't at all. I don't care about that point of view about life. So I just take a couple basic courses and the rest of it's all my work. Right? So you just practice, you put yourself out there, you fail and stumble around for a while, and you figure it out and you fine tune it. It's just the beauty of life, right? Crafting something so that you can really develop yourself in the process and then showcase, what you are here to give to the world, right? So that's how I started smithing. And it became just a thing that I do, and it's my living, moving meditation. And I feel so like I laugh about this that I get to be paid for something that's my meditation.
And that's the best way of getting
it's
paid.
The best. It's awesome. It's like just playing in there and goofing around, watching silly movies, singing and laughing, and that's what I do in my studio. And all that energy is now in the work. And that's why it's beautiful, because it just hums with life, yeah? It's like love and joy and playfulness in each piece. It's not serious. I'm not at all interested in being serious about my work.
So does your jewelry have a story? Like when you work with a piece, how do you go about it?
I'm a symbologist to begin with, so I love symbols and shapes. So understanding a lot of ancient symbols as well, sacred geometry, any of the elementals, that's all part of my passion. So in any work, I will have symbology in it that is related to the person I'm building it for, right? So let's say an area that I love doing is working in power pieces for somebody. So for example, let's say you're clear there's an area in your life you're moving into, you're really excited about it, and you now want a power piece to imbue, to charge you, to remind you of that desire and that passion. And so I will take all my awareness around symbology and craft it into that piece.
That is beautiful.
And then now you have it on you, and it's always charging you with life. So you can go forth and be intentional about your life and have all the elemental magic all be present, right?
I think it gives it even more meaning to the person who's wearing it, knowing that.
Absolutely. Because I really believe in everything we do comes with intentionality. How you dress, how you choose to speak, how you sit, how you present, and how we eat, how we consume, how we then choose to release the garbage, all of that. We're doing things with intentional, and we don't have to be like all uptight about it. But when we get present, that we have the choice at any moment to create our lives as beautifully and as magnificently. The vibration that we exist at is just so high that you just don't put up with anything less, and therefore you are existing on a very conscious plane, and that energy just feeds out into the rest of the world, right? It can't help but spill out on everybody else when there's a consciousness in how we choose to live. So when you choose to wear a piece, when I choose to wear a piece, it's intentional. So today I'm wearing my dragon piece, and that's intentional.
Show me your dragon piece.
My dragon piece.
Where's the dragon?
It's right there.
Oh, I see.
Surrounding the kyanite.
I see that.
Yeah, it's a really...
So what's the symbol of that?
It's my dragon essence, so I do have a dragon side to me. And it's a power piece. It's a communication piece. It's a flow. It's the element of fire with the water, with the blues, and it's a newly developed piece. So it takes a little bit of time for it to really settle into my being and really charge me, right? Because when it comes, it just comes, and I get messages, and I know, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then I do it. And then later on, it starts to get clear what it's for and its intentionality behind it.
It's a gorgeous piece, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very nice.
Thank you. It's fun, too, because I built it in a way that I can actually remove the stone. When I'm done with the blue kyanite, I can always change the stone and pull that all out and So usually when a stone is set into a piece, you can't do any other metal work. Because metal, when you do metal work, you have to use a flame, which is about 2,000 degrees, and any stone, unless it's a diamond, will just blow up in that heat. So stone setting is the last step in any smithing, whether you're working with gold or silver or anything like that.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Of course, that's why we're here. Is I have questions.
You got questions.
How does one start a business in the crafting of jewelry? Do you have a store? Do you have it all online? How do you market yourself? Just to help our audience members that who may be thinking, or maybe they're already doing this and they have this passion for creating jewelry, they just don't know how to go about putting themselves out there. How do you find your customers? How do you go about it?
Great question, because we live in a very business world as well. Yes, so we understand that there's ways to do business. And in my life history, I've had a really awesome, crazy, wacky life. I did go into business thinking that I had to do it a certain way. And I failed terribly because I was listening to all the books and reading all the things that I said I should do it a certain way, right? Networking this and do that and la la la. And so I failed, and literally failed, like lost all my money and had to live in a little trailer in the woods and start from zero. So that was my powerful lesson. And then that was in my business as an interior designer. I've been a jeweler and a smith for a long time. And that I had to listen to as a very organic process. So I think the first thing that anybody has to take on is to be clear what they want to be doing and really just do the things that they want to do. Not to be listening, people would say to me, how come you don't make this? And it would be a trend piece. I'd be like, I'm not interested in trend jewelry. I'm not a trend person. I'm a visionary, which means I will create things that have not existed before. And I'm starting new conversations and new platforms that humanity can move into. So the same with any of my work. Hence, none of those books worked because it was all trend. So don't be building or making, and it doesn't matter whether it's about jewelry or any other business that you're passionate about. Just create the thing that you're actually passionate about. Don't follow trends. Don't be interested in what people are saying that you should be doing. Just do what your heart really wants to do. And it's simple. When you say follow your heart, people are like, what does that mean? It's very simple. Follow your heart means do it because it makes you happy. So simple.
And when it comes to passion-driven businesses, like especially in the arts department, whether it's jewelry, crafting, or anything creative, right? Anything creative. We, like you said, that we hear this. Follow your heart, follow your passion. But I find that a lot of people follow their passion. They say follow your passion and money will come, but a lot of people follow their passion and the money doesn't come. Yep. So any tips on that?
Yes. This is where I teach and coach in, is the distinction to listen to your heart, your spirit, and then be able to fully understand how this thing works. How do you then use this thing in a way that will support your desire? Most of us are using this thing, which is our brain, in ways that does not support us, right? So you'll have somebody, and I've been there, I've done this, and through the years of knowing how to fine tune, I now know how to master using it. But so let's say my heart says, I really want to do this thing. I want to make this product. I would like this to happen with it. And then if you are really conscious and you listen, your brain will say all sorts of stuff about that. And that's where you start to really do your work. You do the work with creating that new thing you want to do. You just keep doing that. And then you watch your brain. When the brain says, no, you can't, no, you're too poor, no, you're too old, no, you blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, it's not a way to make money. A great conversation that in the creative culture in Vancouver is that artists, starving artists, and that's a crap belief system. And a lot of people believe that system. No wonder you're not making money, because you believe it.
If you believe it, it's going to be what you believe.
Yeah. So that's where we start to fine tune this brain. So you just notice it, and then, it really takes practice and commitment, and you know that yourself, right? How much are you going to listen to the noise, or how much are you going to listen to what you really want? So that's the biggest work for everybody.
The mindset.
It's the mind. You got to really learn how to use this thing, because it's powerful. It's so powerful. We are creating our lives with our minds, right? And most people spend our minds in complaints and upsets and focusing on the past, rather than using our mind for what it actually is, which is for inventing new things. That's what our mind is for. Right? Your heart says, oh, I really want to do this. And then your mind goes, okay, in order to do that, you've got to put this together and put that together, and that. And then maybe you go and talk to this person. And so that's what the mind is for, to create. Most humans use our minds to destroy and to be upset. Mindset. So the willingness to shift that mindset is the most important thing.
It's the first step.
Yeah. And there's lots of people, who know how to really support people with that. Right, yourself, myself, there's courses, and it just starts with that conversation and that desire to want to ensure that this mind is in a clear space for creation. And then anything you take on will just have a lot of power to it. And then actually one thing too is the willingness, the courage and the willingness to fail. You have to be okay with failing.
That's so key. That is so key. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because if you don't fail, you will not learn. So I was talking to my little nibbling, my 4-year-old friend that I spent a lot of time with in Colorado, and they kept falling down over the step, right? Every time they put on the step, they'd fall down, and they get upset. And I said, that's okay. You need to fall down to figure out to open your legs wider when you step over the step. And they were like, oh, yeah, right. And then they went to their mom and said, look, I just learned that, if I fall down 10 times, it's because I'm not stepping properly. I'm like, perfect. And they got it. They really got the need to fail to know how to do it a new way. So a lot of people do not take on new ventures because they're afraid to fail. So the lesson is, you know what? You're going to fail. It's okay. It's all good. Enjoy that process, because you're going to gain so much wealth out of that process.
I believe that the word failure should be scratched from the dictionary and our vocabulary.
Replaced with?
Lesson.
Very good. Yeah, be willing to learn. See, I use the word fail because it's more dramatic.
Oh, I know. That's what everyone uses, right? Of course. There is that fear.
Yeah,
we all have it. That's the thing. Okay. Is that everybody has it. It's just about how you deal with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And how
it's
you
natural.
change. Yeah.
It's a natural survival kind of instinct that we have.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It doesn't mean that it's going to stop you. You just know it's there. And then you just do it anyways.
So now, Tien, recently I saw I saw a talk that you did.
Yes.
A recording of a speech that you gave. And it was quite personal. And I'm wondering if you don't have to. Mm-hmm. But I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm wondering if you're willing to share a little bit, because you got into your personal story. Yes. If you're willing to share with our audience here a bit about that, about your background.
Yes, absolutely, because it is a big reason why I'm here. And I'm here to share new stories and new visions and new availability for freedom, for humanity. I am a transgendered man, and I am the first Asian transgendered man to come out publicly in Vancouver in 2001, and which means I was born a human being, and then the world gave me a label called female, and then as a result of that label called female, because we live in a world where your sex organs and your gender are thought of as the same thing, I was brought up to be a female person. So at some point in my life, almost 20 years ago, was when I was like, okay, now I'm done. Like, really? That's all? I'm not interested in just being this one box of things. I want so much more to life, and I can't experience more, if I'm just stuck in this box called female. So I said, let's just transition. And so that was...
Just like that?
Just like that.
No.
No, I don't believe that.
It was
a personal process Absolutely,
You can't just wake up when they say, okay, I'm done, I want more.
No, actually, there
Tell me the truth.
No, it really was, because the challenges in life up until then were extreme as well, right? So there was so much contrasting situations. There was a lot of abuse in my family. There was a lot of immigration stuff. There was a lot of challenges and violence and all of that. And then coming to Canada, even more so, because now I was here alone and all the struggles. And there was a lot of stuff that just didn't work for me because I was stuck in a constraint called female, and it just wasn't me. I'm not that box, and because of the years of that, 30 years of that, it just caused so much disruption. And so it wasn't just like one day I woke up, right? But given all that path led me to that point. And then, I was living as a lesbian for about 10 years because I thought maybe that's what I was when I came to Canada. And I did that. And then, I realized that that wasn't it either. So as I started meeting different people, I met a trans man, the first ever trans man I met, and I freaked right out. I completely freaked out. And I was like shaking the whole time I had coffee with him, and my heart was pounding, and my hair was I was chilled, and I knew that there was something there.
Why did you freak out?
Because there was something there. There was something there that was there for me to address. I needed to address it. This was before I transitioned. I met the first trans man. And so I had to get present to that. I had to get real with myself. I had no idea that this was possible. I really had no idea I could, choose a new gender. So when I realized that that was possible, because I was so scared, I was scared because I knew what was possible. I was suddenly aware of it. And all this time, I had no idea that there were options. I was just going to be stuck in this thing that I hated and live out the rest of my life, right?
Okay. So let me just pause you right here.
Very good.
So up to this point, tell me, you were not happy with where you were at, as far as how you were labeled and how
seen.
Right.
Yep.
What did that cause you? Like, let's get a bit more personal here. Like, how did it affect you emotionally? Like, it goes beyond than just not being happy. Like, did you go through depression? Did you have like problems with friends? Like, what were the challenges that you were going through up to that point?
I would be honest with you to say that there were challenges up until that point, and however they were kind of ordinary for me. It was really only after I transitioned when all those crazy challenges really hit me.
Really?
Yeah. So up until then it was fine, but I was just dissatisfied. I was dissatisfied. There was more. I knew there was a reason why I was born onto planet Earth on this time, and I wasn't able to bring forth that vision. And so all the life lessons up till then around, the being able to thrive in the face of family disruption and all the class and race and immigration and violence and and then going through the up and coming gay and lesbian movement at that point, the feminist movement, everything was hot. The race politics, it was hot, amazing time. So I went through all those struggles to learn how to be more powerful, and then came time to transition. But after I started the transition process was when all the shit happened. So
can you share
that
about
is way more interesting.
Okay.
So when I chose to transition, being the first Asian trans man in Vancouver, there was nobody like me, and all the other people transitioning from female to male were white. So there was a lot of race stuff for me to work out, and I was very isolated. There was no references. There's no books. There's no nothing, right? You just gotta just blunder your way and boldly create, your life as you go ahead. There was so much challenges, and there were lots of oppression, like a lot of opposition. So my community had a really hard time with me. My friends, didn't know what to do with me. I was very androgynous looking, and it was very awkward. Energetically, I was not aligned. I wasn't at home and at peace in myself. I was not happy. I was disowned by my family. And there was no systems, right? You go anywhere, there's nothing. You're not seen anywhere. There's no box when you go to the hospital to check off. Like people are always were calling me ma'am all the time, and then they'd get all weird, and then they'd figure out, oh no, people don't know how to relate to you. And I would go to personal development courses, and people were rude to me, and people were like, "What? You're not a guy. You're a girl. What's wrong with you? Well, stop pretending. Just stop bullshitting, and I'll never listen to you," and all sorts of transphobia. And given as a pioneering person, there's no systems in place. Now it's 2018. It's common, right? There's a lot more gender fluidity in our world, and you got Lavinia Cox on TV. You got all sorts of various well-known trans people to kind of lead the way. One of the most popular shows is RuPaul's Drag Queen, which at least talks a little bit more about your gender fluidity and expression. So it's not an uncommon conversation now, whereas back then, no, never knew what that person was. So as a result, it was really hard. It was so isolating, so lonely. And I did that for about 5 years of.
How'd you cope? You were lonely. How'd you cope? You cut off from your family?
Yeah, I was cut off from my family. I created new friends, and I was in design school, so at least there was a focus for me to move into. I had started business networking, so it was different communities that I was building. And but I did that for about 5 years, and I was trying so hard. I was trying so hard all the time to pass as male and to be normal, which I'm not, and I never will be, because I'm a special soul. But I tried so hard, and it was so exhausting. So exhausting, and I was not failing. I was failing, right? Failing in my business, because I was not a happy person. I was struggling so hard that everything was not working out. So in that process was when, I lost all my money, was treated not very well by partners and people. And one day in 2009 was when it all came to a head, all the struggling, and I did attempt suicide. And that for me was the most profound moment for myself. Even with all the stuff that I'd gone through before, that particular one was, I called my Phoenix Rising. Because in that moment when I chose, I had lost faith in everything. I hated myself, I hated my body, I hated life. It was horrible. I didn't want to be around anymore. So the next day, when I wake up, it was so clear. I said, okay, Tien, you're still here. You're still alive. What do you want to do? And I said, okay, I just want to be happy. I'm so tired of suffering. And my spirit, it's my spirit who said, right, or God, or whoever it is, said, well, okay, promise me one thing. If you're going to stick around, have a good time. Promise me you just have a good time. Otherwise, it's okay. You can go home to your maker. It's fine. You can go home. And I was given so much freedom at that point. It got so clear. I was like, oh my God, I'm not happy. I'm trying so hard to be something, to fit into a society, follow all these different rules, and I'm not happy. So the upcoming weeks was when I quit everything in my life. I dropped my design clients. I dropped my business networking. I sold off my loft. I moved into a trailer in the woods on the Sunshine Coast and took a job as a housekeeper, from a, up and coming interior designer in Vancouver. I just shut everything down and I just let it all go. Why? Because I chose to listen, to follow my heart, and to be happy. To only do things that made me feel good and made me happy. And that whole spiritual kind of experience was so profound, and it's the reason why I do anything that I do now, because I'm so authentically clear that I am doing it for joy. It's not out of obligation. It's not out of trying to fit in. It's not out of a superficial desire for money. Any of that. It's not out of because I want to make friends with you, or because I don't want to be friends with you, or I'm afraid that you're not going to like me, which is how a lot of people operate. I don't do any of that. I'm not here because, I want to have this opportunity so I can like make more money or have more clients. No, I'm here because I adore you. I love you. I think you're a beautiful spirit. I just want to come hang out with you. That's really why I'm here, because it makes me happy to be here.
It makes me happy that you're here.
Yeah, but you get that, right?
I do get that.
You are also on your path of joy, only joy. That's why you choose to do certain things you want to do, and then you're willing to, not do things you don't want to do anymore.
Exactly. We were talking about that earlier. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
No, don't do it.
Anymore. I'm
don't
happy
sell
about
out.
Yeah.
Right? Most people sell out. Even as basic as they won't say no to go hang out with those people because they're afraid that they'll feel bad. They're not honoring themselves. Their self says, no, I want to stay home tonight and, and just enjoy my time with myself. And then you feel bad you're going to oblige and go hang out with the family because they'll think that you're a horrible person. Well, you just sold out in yourself just by doing that. So we can all start by that basic practice of just listening, saying no more often, because it doesn't feel right to do something.
So what I'm getting from this is don't settle.
Never settle.
Never settle.
Absolutely.
Especially for things that don't make you happy.
And the great thing is you don't really know who you really are until you're more and more committed and more interested in just following that bliss, right? Like just keep going there, because I had no idea I'd be who I am now. 10 years ago, I had no idea. I had no idea. As a result, I would have so much peace and joy in my gender expression. I can be male, I can be female, I'm bigendered, so I can play all of it. I can be nothing. I'm beyond all of it.
You're just you.
I am me.
Yeah.
And I have the freedom to just be me. And I can pick whatever expression, because that's just my clothes that I'm wearing today. It's just the way I'm sitting today.
You have a funny character.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
My
Share
Greta Xiao character, the little goofy grandmother.
Yes.
You've gone and cruised her out, eh? Greta Xiao is my grandma character, and she's this goofy lady who's badly made up. And I love her to death because she is so straightforward and so rude and so Asian.
She's rude.
She's rude, but she's so delightfully rude. You can't be offended by her because she's so freely expressed, right? She just walks around with her ugly purse and her crazy clothes and her...
I need to meet her.
Oh, she's coming out a lot more. There's
okay,
a
so
lot
maybe
more
we'll have to interview her.
Oh, no.
I'll have to interview her.
I've done a couple things here and there. I've done some cooking shows and things like that. That's quite funny. But she is delightful because I love comedy. I love comedy. For me, joy is laughter. Laughter is joy. And for me, joy and laughter is your instant access to your true self, to your higher self, to your spirit. I'm not interested in the love part. Love, sure, but love is a little bit more complicated for people. People have like weird stories about love. And it might be an access for people as well, but I find that joy is unfiltered. Something fall on the floor, ha ha ha, funny. Boom, right away, you're in your highest state because you laugh. So comedy for me is crucial. It brings light and joy, and right away, everybody is at a high vibration. That's why I created, no, that's not why I created Greta Xiao. I created Greta Xiao because I have various personas, and I have a really sexy lady part of me. And her name is Cherry, and she performs here and there sometimes. And so I was going to go out to a friend's gig as Cherry. But, as a person who dresses up as female. And, oh my God, so much effort, right?
No kidding.
I had spent all day in the studio, and I go to this party. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to put on all the eyelashes and la la la. I was like, screw that, whatever. I'll just be a goofy, dorky Chinese lady. And so I did. My makeup was done in like 3 minutes. Done. Put on this ugliest clothes, and off I went. And there was Greta Xiao when she was born. And it was so fantastic. I might perform a little bit with some drag queens, and I drive them crazy because they take 5 hours to get ready, and I'm done in 5 minutes. They'd be like, bitch, I hate you. I'd be like, That's why Greta Xiao exists. I'm not interested in all
very
of that.
Clever.
All
very
of that.
clever.
It's all fun.
So, Tien, this has been delightful. For our audience,
yes.
Where can they reach you? Where's the easiest? I know you do Facebook Lives. Yeah. Are they like weekly? How often do you do those? Yes, I do
host a Magic Mondays every Monday, Facebook Live, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Is that on your personal, or do you have a page?
It's moving to my personal. My public page is more my gallery now.
Okay.
and I'm finding it's social media wise, it's easier to work out of the personal page. So yes, you come on, I will usually speak some brilliance and wisdom and all sorts of straight, shooting things. My distinction is very straight to the point. I'm not interested in sugarcoating things. I will give you the real goods and
the real medicine.
The real shit, right? Like no bull, no pretending, no be nice. That's always love and joy present. So it's not because I'm being a jerk, right? I'm just saying because it's what's there. Mm-hmm. And then you just handle that stuff right away. And then, so that's the coaching and the brilliance I bring. And then, I pull cards for people. So I read guidance cards for people and give you your wisdom for the week to take on. It's a really great growing community, and I'm really enjoying that. That's my contribution to the world. So
what's your website?
My website is tienneoeamas.com.
We'll have that in the notes.
So that is all, it's all developing. It's a great year of developing and moving forward in different areas of my life. So all that's becoming more comprehensive, and there will be a shopping site there as well. And nowadays it's so much easier to meet people, right? So just Google my name. I am the only Tien Neo Eamas in the world, so I'll just pop up.
Only one in the world. Of course, there's only one in the world. There couldn't be another one. So, Tien, was it anything else you wanted to share, or?
I think that one of the things that I find most humans are selling out on themselves on, right, I want to just impart this awareness that we are all human beings, and we are all individual souls and spirits, and yet we're all part of a conscious collective of energy. And without getting too flaky about it, because I'm very down to earth, my desire for human beings is to be free so that you can enjoy your life to the most potential that you came to live. And the only way to really begin that journey is to really honor yourself as your true spirit. You're not, and it doesn't matter it doesn't matter where you start from, right? I started the way I started in a fundamentalist Christian family, with all the various oppressions. But you can let who you really are shine by listening and being quiet and listening to your heart and choosing. And anything is absolutely possible. So whatever noise that we have is just noise. It's not true. It's just your brain being noisy, right? All the doubts, it's not who you are. It's just your noisy brain. Who you are is, that person of joy, which is always expanding. And, I love when I see people who are, doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be having the most, they might be going fishing, but you can be the most powerful expressed because that's just what you love to do. And the joy is what actually impacts the rest of the world. Being the change you wish the world to be is about you being happy and being honoring who you really are and living your life, to whatever max that you want to live it, right? And then we can actually shift the world consciously, because that is the state we're in right now. We're consciously, as a humanity, growing and shifting the world. And we have to start with ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. This has been delightful to have you here, and thank you for sharing your story, which is quite personal, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to go there or not. So I do appreciate it. I'm grateful that you did, because I know there'll be people listening, watching, that will benefit from your story. Mm-hmm. And thank you. They're going to come to your website and buy jewelry too.
Come check me out. Absolutely. And message me with questions and all that, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you, honey. So happy to be here.